Hi, and welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today we're making a fall comfort food classic, chili with roasted spaghetti squash. My Dutch oven is preheating on the stove over medium-high heat, and in it I have about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I'm going to add 1.5 pounds of ground meat. And to the meat, I'm going to add 1 onion that I chopped up, 1 red bell pepper, and you can use any color of bell pepper that you like, or omit it if you don't like the pepper, and about 3 cloves of garlic that I chopped up nice and fine. So I'll add all the veggies. And I'll cook this until the meat is browned and the veggies are tender. The meat has browned up nicely and the veggies have started to soften. So I just drained off some of the excess fat, and now we're going to season it up. When you season up your chili, everything can be to taste. So I'm going to start with salt and pepper, and then you definitely want to add at least a tablespoon or 2 of chili powder, as that's the predominant flavor. But some other seasonings I'm adding today are garlic powder, paprika, oregano, cumin, which has a nice smoky flavor, and then kind of a secret ingredient, a little pinch of cinnamon, which gives it a nice warm, sweet flavor in the background. You don't want to do too much, and it's definitely optional, but it's kind of a nice little change up to your regular chili spices. To the meat mixture, I'm going to add a couple of big spoonfuls of tomato paste, and I'll let that cook for a couple of minutes because it's going to heat up the tomato paste and kind of let it melt and coat all of the meat. For the final few ingredients, I'm starting with 1 15-ounce can of light red kidney beans that I drained and rinsed. So I'll add those in. And for the liquid, I'm adding 2 15-ounce cans of diced tomatoes. So these are just regular diced tomatoes, but I know they also have fire roasted tomatoes at the store, which I love, but I don't get them because my kids freak out when they see the little black bits on the side of the tomato skin. They're like, what is this in my chili? So just to keep everybody happy, we're doing regular diced tomatoes. So 2 cans of that with the juice. You don't want to drain those. And then for some additional liquid, I'm going to start with a cup of water. And as this simmers for about an hour, you can always add more liquid as it reduces down. And that's kind of up to your preference too. If you like a thicker chili, you probably won't want to add any more water. But if you want it to be a little soupier consistency, you can add as much as you want. I'm going to let the chili come to a boil and then reduce the heat and let it simmer for a good hour so that all the flavors meld together. Chili is one of those quintessential comfort foods, and my recipe today has a little bit of an updated twist. Veggie noodles are super popular right now, and making them out of a spaghetti squash is really easy because you don't need any kind of special tools like a spiralizer that you might need for zucchini noodles. All you have to do is roast the spaghetti squash and then you shred it up with a fork, and there you go. You have spaghetti squash noodles. So this is a spaghetti squash, and it's a great low-carb alternative to pasta. So we're going to use this as the base for our chili. So I wanted to show you it whole so you knew what it looked like. I have another one here that I already cut in half, and it's kind of like working with a pumpkin. If you ever carved a pumpkin, it actually has a sort of a pumpkin-y scent to it, and then it has all this kind of gook and seeds in the middle, so we're going to remove that. You can just use a knife and kind of cut around and scoop it out, but I have grapefruit spoons. I don't know if anybody else has these anymore, but it's a little spoon with a serrated edge, and it's a great tool to use to scrape out the inside of your spaghetti squash. So as you can see, I scraped out all the insides of the spaghetti squash, including the seeds, and I have a baking sheet here that I line with foil, and I just spray with cooking spray. You could also spread some olive oil onto the surface or even directly onto the surface of your spaghetti squash. So I'm going to place my spaghetti squash face down onto my prepared tray and bake it in an oven that's at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes or until it's fork tender from the outside. You're gonna be able to pierce the outside of the spaghetti squash with the knife, and it should go in really easily. So that's when you know that it's done. So I'm gonna scoop out all the filling from the other half of my squash, put it face down, and then get this into the oven to roast. My spaghetti squash baked in the oven for about 45 minutes, and I just wanted to show you with this knife here, now that it's cooked, it just slides in really easily. Before, I don't think I could have even gotten through the hard exterior. So you know that it's cooked through. Let me grab a little pot holder here. I don't want to burn myself because this just came right out of the oven, but I'll flip it over and you can see, oh yeah, that looks good. So I want to show you with this fork here, the meat of the spaghetti squash comes away so easily from the skin. And look, it looks like little spaghetti noodles. And that's what we're gonna put underneath our chili. The chili's been simmering for a good hour. It smells delicious. And our spaghetti squash is out of the oven. So now we're just gonna serve it up. I like to serve my chili over a bed of rice with the spaghetti squash on the side. And I'm gonna top mine today with a little dollop of sour cream. And you can also substitute Greek yogurt for that kind of creamy tanginess. I have a little bit of shredded sharp white cheddar cheese. And my husband and I like to add a few dashes of hot sauce too, just to spice it up. So you can customize your toppings however you'd like. Let me know in the comments below if you try this recipe at home. Thanks for joining me in my kitchen for another family recipe, and I'll see you again soon.
For the full recipe, check the description box below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me in my kitchen.